I will be creating a program similar to a point of sale system or a cash register. Let us save our file as point of sale. Let us add that too as a comment. We have the preprocessor directive, our main function. We now display our menu. In this program, let us assume that we have a pizza business and let us name it as Pizza Box. We now display the product with the code and the price. We have Hawaiian overload at 350 pesos each. Assuming we will have 5 products and the code will be 12345, then we will type the corresponding prices per item or product. Let us change the title to Pizza Box Overload. Let us change this part and let's add a new line. Let us ask the user to enter the code of the product. The codes will be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Therefore, our variable will be of type integer. The user here would be the cash register clerk. We ask the quantity. And store it to variable quantity or QTY, declaring it of type integer. If, for example, code 1 is chosen, the amount should be 350 multiplied with the quantity. So we have to set the price. We will make use of the switch statement. We switch the variable code. And if the code is equal to 1, price would be 350. And we do the same for the other products. There is an error here because we haven't declared yet the price. We declare it of type float since currency has 2 decimal places. Now we have the price per code. We can now compute for the price multiplied by the quantity. This will be stored in the variable amount, which will refer to the amount per item. So for example, the user will enter 1 in this part, enter code, meaning he or she is referring to the Hawaiian overload with a price of 350. If the user entered 1, the value 1 will be stored in the variable code. Afterwards, the user will now enter quantity, how many Hawaiian overload. And for example, he or she entered 2, the value 2 will be stored in the variable quantity. Now, for the price, we do not know yet. If the user will buy Hawaiian overload, that is 350, he will buy 2, Then you multiply 350 by 2. So you have a total amount of 700. But the 350 is not stored in any variable. That is the reason why we have to switch the code. If the code is equal to 1, then a variable of price will have a value of 350. In that case, after executing this block of statement, the compiler will go to line 35, wherein the value of price will be multiplied with the quantity. Since the user entered 1 as the code, for example, our price becomes 350. So this becomes 350, and then the user entered 2 a while ago, for example. Therefore, the amount would be 700. But it is just stored in the variable, so we have to display. We could say amount is %.2f. Then we declare amount of type float. When we say float, it has decimal places. And we know that prices have decimal places. We did here .2f since we want to display only the 2 decimal places. So let us try. There's an error because this is a syntax error. We delete, then we compile. So there, using the printf, these are displayed. Then this is also displayed using the printf. We have enter code. Then we have the scanf, asking for the user to enter a value. Assuming we want number 1, then next would be to enter the quantity. Enter quantity. We say 2. So 2 will be stored in quantity while 1 will be stored to code. Then we have amount is 700 since our code is 1. Our code is 1. The price is 350. And 350 times 2, we have 2 here. The value of variable amount is 700. Now we print. Using printf, we have amount, then .2f from the value of variable amount. Also consider what if the user would like to add orders. If the user intends to add another order, this should be displayed again, and the code and quantity should be asked again. Same as a while ago. So you have to do this part again until such time that the user do not want to add another order. That means we have to use an iteration or a looping statement. We have 3 options: do while, and the for loop. The best to use here is the do while, because you have to do or execute this first, then afterwards, that's the time you test the condition. If we use the do while, it is a post-test kind of loop. When we say post-test, we check the condition after we have executed once the block of statement to be repeated, while the while loop is a pre-test, meaning you test the condition if it is true before you execute. We do not use this because we do not ask the user to add another order at the beginning. The very first thing the user should do is to see the menu and then order. Then afterwards, ask if there is another order. So that is the reason why we do not use the while loop. The third one is the for loop, which is a pre-test, similar with the while loop. That is the reason that the best iteration statement to use is the do while. The syntax is to do this, whatever is inside the double quote. That is where we put the statements to be repeated, meaning we display starting from here up to the displaying of the amount. We cut and we place it inside there. So the partner of this is this one. This is the main function. the do while, and the switch. So do here while. So what is our condition? So we have to ask first. The user could type in Y for yes or N for no. Add another order. Then we store whatever will be entered. Since Y and N are just characters, we make use of the get ch to get the character and store it to the variable add another. We have to declare add another of type character. This is a camel case style of naming our identifier or variables. We capitalize the second word. After the user answers this question, add another order. If the user entered letter Y, it will be stored in the variable add another or N, meaning while add another is equal to a character Y, I use the single quote because Y is a character. Or the user could also type in a capital letter. So we just put here either capital Y or small y. If this is true, the compiler will execute again this statement. Let us test our code. The menu is displayed using the printf. Then we are waiting for a value to be entered by the user because of the scanf function. And whatever we will be typing here will be stored in the variable code. Assuming we want number 3, we type in number 3 and it will be stored in the variable code. Then next is to enter quantity. Then again, we are waiting for a value to be entered because of the input function is scanf. We say we order 2. So 2 will be stored in the variable quantity. Now, how did we come up with 700? That is because we switched the value of code. If it is equal to 1, price is 350. If it is equal to 2, 320. But we chose 3. Therefore, the price is 350. And afterwards, 350 times 2 equals 700. Now we display amount from the value AMT or amount. So we have 700. Now we ask, add another order, Y or N. When we say Y, it will be stored in the variable add another. Then as you have noticed, since we entered Y, if the user entered Y, the compiler will repeat. That is the reason why we have here again the menu. I think it will become neat if we clear the screen. Add another, we say no, so we exit. So here, we make use of the clear screen. So if we choose number 5, we buy 2, the amount is 800. Since the switch statement, the code is equal to 5, the price becomes 400. And 400 times 2 is stored in the amount variable and displayed. Add another, yes. There. So we choose another. We enter the quantity. Yes. But we have to show, by the way, we have to show what the user entered. I say N. So instead of get ch, we use get che to echo whatever we entered. Number 4, 1. Add another, I choose Y. But we have not seen it again because we have the clear screen. But if we say N, it will be displayed. Aside from the amount, we also have to display the total amount. We have total amount plus amount. For example, if the user first chose number 1, So that's Hawaiian overload, and multiplied with the quantity, it will be stored in the variable amount. But if the user add another order, for example, number 5, that is worth 400, and I bought 2, the amount would be 800. But the total amount would be 350 plus the 800. That is the difference of amount and total amount. So we also have to display from the variable total amount. Then we declare. For example, I chose number 1. I will buy 1. The amount is 350. Total amount is 350. And I'd like to add another. I choose number 5. I will buy 1. So the amount of that order is 400, but not the total amount now is 750. I add another, number 3. I will buy 2, that is worth 700, but the total amount becomes 1,450. And if I do not wish to order again, I choose N, then the cash to be paid by the customer should also be entered. In this area, we ask the user to enter the cash to be given by the customer, and we store it to variable cash. We declare it of type float. Then we have the change. The change would be cash minus the total amount. Then we now display the change. We declare again the variable change. $350, total amount $350, buy again. 400, total amount is $750. And then I do not wish to add another. I choose N. Now I will enter the cash amount. I have 1,000. Therefore, the change would be $250. But what if the total amount is $750, but the cash entered is $600, meaning it is not supposed to accept. The system should not accept a cash that is less than the total amount. So therefore, we have to check. We have to do this part again while the cash is less than total amount. Add another, no. Then my cash is 1,000, which is less than the total amount. I will be asked again to enter a cash. If I say 2,000, that's the time the change will be displayed. Let's have a recap. We have displayed the menu, and we are asking for the code and the quantity from the user to be stored in the variables code and quantity respectively. But the code is 1, 2, 3, or 5, which is not the price. We cannot make use of the code to compute for the price. So we have to switch the code. If code is equal to 1, variable price will have a value. If it's equal to 2, if it's equal to 3, etc. Then, I did not use the default keyword here. By the way, that is still accepted. Now, to compute for the amount, you have the price multiplied by the quantity, and then we display the amount. Then we also have what we call total amount. This is if the customer will order more than one item. And then we are repeating these instructions or these codes until such time that this condition becomes false. That is, if the character entered is not equal to capital Y or small letter y. Then, if the customer do not wish to order again, the cash tendered will be accepted and stored in variable cash. But we have to do this statement again if the cash is less than the total amount. And if this becomes false, we now proceed with the computation of the change. We could also display a message. There. So that ends this video. Thank you.